Hello. Yes, I am in the beach today. It's about half 5 in the afternoon here, and the sun is still up in the sky because it's summertime. And in summertime, the sea doesn't go quicker. They don't set quicker, so they take long time. So look at it. Beautiful, is it? Well, I am here. Look. And I decided to do this video because looking at this water, looking at this beautiful sea, remind me about something that happened to me in Portugal, okay, when I was there 2 years ago. So I decided to jump, do a big jump on my dreams and tell you one of the dreams I had in Portugal. I'm gonna take this. The water now is a little cold because the sea is coming up. You know, the sea is moving up right now, covering all the rocks around here. Wow, there is a crab in there, a baby crab. Yes. So my family is behind there. Can you see Anna and my son-in-law, Dimitri, and the kids? I was by myself here, these rocks. Now they decided to walk around here also. So I'm gonna move a little further from them so I can continue this, telling this about this dream that I had in Portugal. I was in Portugal about 2 years ago in 2019, and after I went, I think I spent 3 days or 5 days in. All my trip was 5 days, so I spent one night in Portugal in Lisbon when I arrived, and another night in Lisbon when I came back from Fatima. I was in Fatima for 3 nights. So when I came back from Fatima and spent the night in Lisbon, I had a very strange dream. But this dream explained to me a lot about my life today. Okay. Well, in this dream, the dream was like this. I was walking in the fields by the sea. In that dream I was about probably 8, 7, no more than 8, 7 to 10, between this age, 7 to 10. And it was me, my father, mother, and a sibling, as a baby with probably about a year, and another brother. I was the only girl, 2 brothers, another brother probably about 5. So in the dream, we are walking because we have been visiting my grandmother, and we were visiting the grandmother, probably the mother of my father. That's what I felt during the dream. So when we were walking, going back to our place, it was a place not like the rocks here. It was not like this. It was a vegetation like the ones I can see here. You know that vegetation there. Can you see that vegetation there? It was more like that vegetation there, but it was not rocks. It was just sand and earth, normal. But it was a very low vegetation all around, and you were walking in a path. It was a path, it was not a road. It didn't have any roads. It was a path, on the soil, didn't have any pavement, nothing. You were walking, and then when you are approaching the gates, there were a wall around the city where we're going, not very higher one, lower, but there were a type of gate also. So to get inside the village, you were living in a village, okay? And then when you were coming very close to the sea, uh, we noticed that the fishermen on the boats, little boats, were screaming to people by the shore, by the beach. They were screaming for people to move out, move out, move out. But no one was understanding what they were saying. So when you saw that, I told my dad, please, let's go back to my grandmother's house. Let's go back to grandmother's house. But my father said, no, you can't reach our house before this wave comes. But you didn't have time. Because when you were, and then my father took my hand. I was on his left side, my mother in his right side, my brother about 5 between my mom and my dad, and my mother was carrying the baby. But then when you saw that, and when you saw the screaming and the people running, my father took my little brother on his arms. So my mother took the hands of the little one, the 5 years old, and my father took my hands on his left hand, my right hand and his left hand, and he was carrying the baby on his right hand. So when we look at the sea, the wave that were coming towards us was immense, immense, so high that in my dream even with my eyes open, I can see the wave coming towards us. And the only thing I remember after that was my father. My father was just like a hero, and he was with the baby on his right arm, his hands on mine, and I felt his hands very close to mine and squeezing my hands, and then the wave came like poof on us, and then I wake up. I was very impressed by this dream. And then next day, it was my last day. I had to I had to travel about in the evening. My ticket for the plane was for the evening, so I had the time of the day for myself. So I decided to go around Lisbon, and I went to many churches. And the church, one of the churches I went was the Cathedral of St Anthony. When I arrived in that cathedral, it was a service, so I stayed on the services. I participated in the services, and then after I decided to go around and read all the inscriptions there and visit the growth there, because that is where St Anthony was brought up. He was born in that place and brought up in that place. It was his house. They built the church on top of his family house. So I went down and I visited everything. And then when I was reading the story in the church about the church, I discovered that they had a big earthquake in Lisbon in the 17th century and 17th to 18th century. And about 50% of the population was killed. And the waves of the tsunami killed a lot of people, not just the earthquake, but the tsunami that raised by the sea level. And I understood the dream. Just the night before, I had this information that I was being killed with my family in the waters of the tsunami. And then explained to me the fear I have about water. I know how to swim a little, not much. I can survive for probably about half an hour in the water, not more than that. If a plane drop on the sea, I probably survive for about half an hour, no more. because I know how to float. The only thing I know how to do in water is float it. But I always had panic towards water, towards the sea. You know, I can play on the shallow waters, but I never go down there because I'm not self-confident to go down there. But after that, I understood why I always have problem, you know, in deep waters. Always, even swim pool. I have always to be closer to the edge of the swimming pools. I never go. I cross the swimming pool, you know, floating and swimming on my back, but I never put my front on the sea or on the swimming pool. Never, never. So sometimes you had that fears about something and you don't understand why. So you have to go back, not just in this life, but previous lives to understand what that fear is, what that means, why you have so much fear about something, or you know you're not self-confident in about something. Sometimes it's not linked to life here. And one of my grandsons, I noticed that when he was about 3 years old, I was living by Thames, by the river Thames, and I had a flat in there. So he came many times to spend the weekend with me. So you walk around the Thames, and sometimes there is these places where they put some walking things that you can see the sea down, the water down below. And my grandson always, when he was from about 3 years old, he was afraid of stepping on it and look at the water down. Other kids were just, you know, going around and jumping on this one and looking at the water below, but he was never able to do it. He was crying and he was pushing me not to step in this type of it's made by iron or made, you know, but he didn't feel safe. And then I comment with my daughter, look, something happens with this boy when he was in previous lives that you know, he's afraid of water. He's afraid of deep waters, like me, like me. So yes, you have to pay attention also on your children's what they are afraid of from early age, because this one, it was very early age for him to be afraid of. Um, because normally kids at that age are very brave. They like to, you know, some of them have this kind of issues, and so you have to look what is driving them to have this kind of issues. Like me, I discovered it 2 years ago, nearly 3 years ago. I discovered why I always had problem in learning how to swim with my face on the water. I never managed that. And then from then on, I respect my own limitations, because it's something that comes deep in my DNA, you know? Because this comes deep in our DNA, in our spiritual DNA, not in our physical DNA, but in our spiritual DNA. Probably physical also, because I am part of my ancestors. And probably it's not just me. I just was connecting to some ancestors of mine that had this problem, because my DNA is 49% of Portuguese. So probably in my DNA, my grandmother, probably grandmother, probably have died in a tsunami like this. And then I carry on my DNA have fears, you know? So probably it's not even me that got into this situation, but someone that was close to me. Um, don't explain because why I saw myself as a 10 years old girl, but explains my father. And it's amazing because my father in this dream was my brother. It was the face of my brother as my father, and my brother is already dead for about 20 years. So he's already in the spiritual world. And the sea is getting a little more things and it's coming up more quicker. So I have to go off these rocks because that's where I am. But can you hear the sea? The sea is getting a little more rough. That means the sea is coming a little more. And probably I will have problems to get off the rocks. So I'm going to start to move myself. And I have to step in water now because the water invaded the rocks where I was walking to come to this place. You see? Can you hear the difference of the sea? Yeah. But even then, I love the sea. I love the water. Actually, I am Scorpio, and Scorpio is a water sign. So I must love water. But I know I love water. I'm afraid of water because I know the power of the water. And I can see it now because the sea is coming more quicker and they make more noises. And my grandchildren is loving it. They are loving it. But it's very warm right now. I even can sit here, you know. I think I'm gonna sit here and show you the waves. Look, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Look at it. It's coming, it's coming, the sea is coming. The sea is coming up. So yes, I just jumped. I just jumped on my collection of dreams because I was here and then I remember my experience in Portugal. That's why I decided to tell you this and to, you know, to tape this video. Yeah. So this one is done. A last dream, another dream that, oh, you see, stop now. Do you believe that? Look, now it's silent again. That is something amazing by the sea, about the sea. Now, you see? It's like they were not brave. Okay, people. I will see you next time in another dream of mine, okay? But I hope my dreams is helping you to understand your own history, your own self. Get deep in your own self and discover everything about you. Okay. I'm gonna tell another series of dreams next time. But for now, God bless you. Keep you safe and me also. Bye bye.